Um, well, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Justin Wilson, and I serve on staff with the Gathering, and happy to be with Dr. Kristen Contos Kruger this evening, who serves as our Director of Accompaniment. And so she has lots of fun information to share with you. So she has a presentation, and then after that, we'll do some Q&A. So throughout the entire webinar, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A feature in the bottom, and we'll get to those at the end. But with that, I will pass it over to you, Kristen.
Cool. Thanks, Justin. So we have so many great things to get to tell you about the Accompaniment Day. And the first thing I really want to make sure that you hear is that this is a day of invitation. We are so excited to welcome you to a city where God is active and present through the people that you're going to get to meet and engage with on each of our projects. We can't wait for you to get to see all the different things happening in this incredible city. So you're invited to this city to do a few things. We would like you to encounter New Orleans and partners across the ELCA. So some of you will get to do projects that are not specifically just for New Orleans, but will introduce you to different global partners and help your students think bigger about what it means to be someone who is walking alongside others in this world. We will engage in transformative experiences. We'll look at what faithful accompaniment looks like. And then it is my deepest prayer and the prayer of our team that your students will return home empowered as agents of change in their own communities. Because what we know is in 3 hours of serving in the city of New Orleans, what we're inviting you to do is a beginning. The people in New Orleans are going to be delighted to have you. Our team has spent 2 years listening to the different partners across the city and hearing about their needs and different things that we can do to help further their missions. But our invitation is that you start listening and paying attention to the needs in your own communities, because just like there is hunger and racism and climate injustice and all of these things happening in the city of New Orleans, they exist wherever you are too. So we want you to be able to return home with some skills and some questions to start engaging in your own communities as well. One of the things that we get to do on Accompaniment Day is to invite you to bring things into the community. We listened to partners across New Orleans and asked them if thousands of students were to bring items to your city to make a difference, what would that be? And what we heard over and over again was that people needed hurricane recovery kits. So we have built, based on working with all those different community leaders, and kits that will look like items that everyone needs in the first days after a disaster in the city of New Orleans. What that usually looks like is people do not have electricity, and as you know, it's really hot. And so a lot of these items you'll see are about light and about cooling, so that people can make it through those first few days after any given disaster. So you can find your region here on the map and see what item you get to bring. You can do this by building a whole kit. If you were to build each of these things into one kit, it costs about $100 of an Amazon wish list. You can collect the item from your region. So region 7, small first aid kits, right? Personal wipes, batteries, whatever it is that is on your list, and pack them in your bag. You could collect a special offering at your church and then ship items directly to the gathering. And we will have an option for you to ship items, whether it is from a special collection or however it makes sense for you to do that. We will have an option for that starting in April, and they'll go to one of our local ELCA congregations and then come to the gathering. During the gathering, some of you will get to help build those kits and distribute them across the city. So on our team, we hear a lot about how wonderful it is that the Lutherans are coming to save and serve the city of New Orleans. And what we want you to know is that we are walking alongside people who are already doing the hard work in the city of New Orleans. Our presence is to be partners with, not to tell people how to make the city better. There are people already doing that work. We just get to be a part of it for a few days. So we've been very intentional as we have worked with each of the different organizations that you'll get to encounter, so that you get to encounter the stories of the people and make a small difference in the ways that they can do the work that is changing the city every single day. The question we ask them is, if we were to send you 50 or 200 young people with minimal skills, but lots of passion, how could we further the mission of what you're already doing in this place? And with those answers, we build projects that serve for the people who we're working with. That looks like a few different things. Some of you, many of you will get to do what we're calling action projects. This is what you probably think of first when you imagine a service project. These are projects that look like building something, painting something, cleaning something, lots of neighborhood cleanups and park restorations, working with schools. So we'll see lots of projects in that category. Some of you will be invited to do advocacy projects, because what we've learned with many of our partners is what they need is not your physical labor of building a park, but instead learning about how to change the systems that led to the injustices that they are trying to correct. And so we'll teach the students at these projects, they'll engage in advocacy and learning how to use their voices as young people of faith to make big positive change in the world around them. And then finally, some of you are going to get to do awareness projects and learn about the culture of the city of New Orleans. This is going to look like engaging with musicians and filmmakers and other artists to really learn, why do they have jazz music as a tradition? What is a weekly second line, and what does that mean for the people in the city? So you'll get to learn about what it is to be a New Orleans native from the people who are really shaping and continuing traditions that have been passed on from generation to generation. What I want you to hear is that each of these projects is equally valuable in terms of the impact that it makes in the community. Each of these projects is intended and built with all of the students that are coming in mind, and will shape the ways that they see the world moving forward. Every day, whenever is your accompaniment day, this is what it's going to look like. Your accompaniment day starts the night before, which is to say that on the night before you're assigned to do your accompaniment rotation, you will get a text message from a young adult who we call servant companions. And that will say something like, "Hey, my name is Kristen. I'm your servant companion. Meet us at 8 o'clock at the Superdome, and I will be holding up a big sign that says number 14. So it'll be easy to find me, and they'll send you a selfie so you know exactly who you're looking for." Then you reply back, "Yes, awesome. We can't wait. We'll see you then." And everybody's good. This step only works if your registration information has a cell phone number of someone who's at the gathering. So if you have put like your church office number in your registration, please, before the gathering, make sure that you insert your adult person's cell phone who's going to be present on site so that we can get in touch with them as needed. In the morning, you're going to eat breakfast. Please eat breakfast, feed everyone. Fill up your water bottles, put on your sunscreen, and then you're going to gather at your launch site for everybody. That's going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then when you get to your bus or to the location where you're serving, you will hear about where you get to serve and about the partner that you're working with. Then you will do the project, whatever that project looks like. And as you return from your project, your servant companion will help you lead your students through some accompaniment questions and imagining what the world could look like with what they have learned. And then the hope is that you will share this story with the people at home and continue the work in your own communities. We're here to help you think about what that might look like. Really important information for you to know is that there is no lunch, right? If you looked at that schedule, there's no lunch. The youth gathering is not serving lunch for anybody on the day of the gathering of accompaniment. That is a departure from the way things have happened before. And the reason for that is you will be back by 1 o'clock. And so please pack snacks, bring some granola bars or whatever makes people happy in your backpacks. And then you get to go into the city, because one of our big goals is to be a part of the culture of the city. New Orleans is a city whose culture is shared very deeply in the food that they eat. So please be engaged in the culinary experiences, and you will have the opportunity to do that best by engaging in finding your own lunches. So there will be no lunch on accompaniment day. There are 3 ways that you will get to your gathering projects. Some of you will get on a gathering transportation bus at the Superdome. Some of you will walk to the convention center, and your project will take place at the convention center. And others of you have opted in or can still consider opting into using your own transportation. If you are assigned a bus, you will get this information in your final details. You'll find out some of this information, and you'll get more about that from your servant companion. And what you'll learn is you're going to meet at the Superdome at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll know what number your servant companion is, and they'll have a big sign just like this number 18, easy to find. When the buses are loaded, you will join, all the buses will go out into the city for their work, and then they will return to the convention center. Everybody returns to the convention center. Some of you will walk to the second and third floors of the convention center, because some of our partners have told us that actually the work that they need from us can be done at the convention center, which keeps your students out of the really hot New Orleans weather and gives us opportunities to do different kinds of work. So our partners in some places have decided to bring their work to us instead of us going to them. They're still fantastic projects. They're full of really cool experiences. They just want to make it a pleasant experience for you all, knowing that not everyone coming to the gathering is ready for our 300-degree summer that we have here in the South. So we're trying to help you out here with some of those. And then others of you have the option, right? And we will talk more about this as you have questions, but you have the option to drive yourselves. You can see in the registration, there's a box to click saying, I'm interested in driving my congregation. This can be because you're bringing your own vehicle to the gathering. It can be because you just want to rent a car for the day, or you're interested in taking an Uber. But we have a lot of organizations that would like to work with your students, and they are in locations where buses are not a good choice, right? We can send your vehicles, whatever that looks like, to areas of the city that we can't send giant 50-passenger buses. Or maybe they can have a group that is about 20 people, but they can't accommodate 50 people in their space. So if this seems like something you're interested in doing, please do reach out to us. I'll be happy to answer all of your questions, but we would love to be able to work with some of the really great partners in the city who really do need us to drive ourselves on those days. What to pack? On your accompaniment day, arrive with a water bottle filled with water. It will be hot. No matter where you are in the city, it will always be hot in July in New Orleans. Bring sunscreen, bring bug spray, bring some kind of rain gear. In most situations, a poncho or rain jacket is going to serve you better than an umbrella. Bring some kind of snacks. We encourage you to bring your students to bring their phones. Our partners will give you all kinds of accounts to follow and hashtags to use. You can use the gathering ones as well. And it's important to keep in mind that you will have time to return to your hotels before mass gathering. So if you get all hot and sweaty, there's time to shower, time to change before you enjoy the rest of the gathering for the day. It will be hot, so come prepared for the weather. You'll wear your orange Youth Gathering shirt on your accompaniment day. You'll receive those at registration. You will be wearing shorts. Keep safety in mind as people are choosing those, closed-toed shoes and closed-heeled shoes. This is not an opportunity for Crocs. So we really need students to wear like tennis shoes or things like that. Hats, sunglasses, and again, sun protection, because we know that these are going to be really important for the kind of experience that your students have. As you get ready for the gathering, please come ready to walk. Know that you will be walking no matter where you come. Start hydrating, get everybody in the practice of drinking tons and tons of water. Do the getting ready materials, and then our invitation again from the accompaniment day is start listening to the people in your neighborhood, to the students who are coming. What are the things and the issues they see in the world that they want to help solve? We're going to give you some skills for that, but we would love to help you to engage in that in new and more interesting ways as you leave. So we can't wait to have you in the city of New Orleans. We can't wait for you to meet all of these partners that are building projects with anticipation of the students that will be coming. And I'd love to answer all your questions in the time we have left so that we can talk and think about all the ways that we can serve the city.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. like Kristen said, now is kind of some time to answer any questions that you might have. So use the Q&A feature at the bottom of Zoom, and I see a few already coming in. Kristen, will water be available at the sites?
There will be water available at every site. It's one of the things we ask of all of our partners, that there's water and accessible bathrooms for everybody. It may not be like cold bottled water. It may be, room temperature water. It will all be safe water to drink.
Yes. Um, if you are assigned to a project at the convention center, is there a time yet that they're expected to be there?
Yes, no matter where you're going, we expect you to be there at 8 o'clock. So everybody.
Um, Great. If it's a smaller group and they opt into driving themselves to their project, will they be teamed up with another group, or is it just them?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things we know is really valuable is the part where you get to serve with people that you might not encounter otherwise. So you will for sure be grouped with others no matter how you get to your project.
Who do we email if we are able to drive to our location? So you technically wouldn't email us. If you just log into your congregational details section of your registration, there is a box there that you can say that you are interested um, in participating in that program, or not program, that
I mean,
option.
it is an option and it is a bit of a program because part of that does get you an hour training in what it looks like to do accompaniment in your community. And we will tell you your project assignment before you come to the gathering. So you get a little behind the scenes information to help you prepare.
Yep. Will the recording from this webinar be available to us after this? Yes. It takes a hot second for us to download it and get it uploaded, but it will be available sometime next week on the Gatherings YouTube playlist. One last question, unless there's more. When will we know which of the 3 accompaniment day activities we were assigned to?
Yes, this is, I think, the question we get the most. And you will find out which day you're assigned in the final details that come out
May
in April, May what?
15th.
May 15th. So
Mhm.
you'll find out then. What you will not find out is what project you're going to be on. I would love to tell you in May where you're going, but the reality is the needs of our partners and the needs of our participants change regularly. So what we will do is you will find out what day you're going if you're going to be serving on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You'll learn where you're going when you get on the bus or arrive to the convention center on the day of your project, unless you're driving yourself. Then you will learn that at the end of May.
Um, if you have more than 20 participants, are you still able to drive yourself to your project?
Yes, we had originally limited that because that was kind of what we knew about the needs of our partners, but that has shifted as we've gained different partners in the city. So yes, larger groups can drive themselves.
Awesome. Um, will you be going with your own synod on this day?
Maybe we assign projects based on the needs of the participants, and it becomes a numbers game to fill buses and that type of thing. So you might find yourself with people from your synod on your project. You might find yourself with brand new friends, but you will be serving on the same day as people from your synod.
If I'm traveling with other congregations, can we be assigned to the same accompaniment day? Um, so it,
Maybe.
no.
Yeah, only if you are registered together under the same congregational ID.
Yeah.
And if they're in your synod, then you will be assigned to the same accompaniment day because that whole rotation model is based on your synod. But we will not be able to guarantee that you'll be with them on the same project unless you're registered under the same congregational ID.
Not the exact project, but we were asked to select our preference for what kind of accompaniment experience our group would prefer. Will we know that before?
You will not. Again, I would love to tell you that. What I can tell you is that we don't anticipate any trouble honoring those requests. But again, as our partners' needs change, And because you work in ministry is not that different than working in nonprofit organizing, that their needs between now and the gathering will change. And so we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs that make sense for them as well as make sense for us. But I have very good hopes that we'll be able to, honor all of those things.
Yeah. One last question until a few more pop up. This one says, what time is worship? So worship will be on your synod day, so a different day than accompaniment. And that will either be at 10 or 2. And so you will find out the details of where that synod worship will be and what time it is on May 15th when those final details are released.
And what time is mass gathering, Justin? Because I'm thinking that might,
You
7 o'clock. Sorry, I'm looking. So the mass gathering begins at 7 o'clock. So that's the evening programming. The doors will open earlier, 5:30.
I think.
But you will still have given that plenty of time after your accompaniment day to find lunch, shower, relax, enjoy air conditioning if you've been outside. So we really intentionally build some time into the schedule for you to care for your students in having some time for them to recover and discuss and process what they've learned.
Awesome. Any last questions? Wait a few seconds. I don't think. Okay.
We often get questions about the in-kind donations. So again, that information is on all the social medias, and I know is coming onto the website. Those requests are all in. They're just doing some back end things there, so that should be up and available to you soon. But
Yep.
know that, if there's questions about how you do that, please ask us. We'll be happy to help you build those things out.
Yeah. Yeah. Email us gathering@elca.org if you have any other questions. They come to you later tonight, and we'll be happy to answer those. And with that, thank you, Kristen, for sharing with us. And thanks everyone for joining us this evening. And yeah, if you have any other questions, just email us. And that's it. So thank you so much, everyone.
See you soon.